Okay, here I am. What's up, everybody? Today is day number 310 since I started naming and counting my days, and it's a good thing that I'm mentioning counting here because what my message is today is math. This is sort of like out of the Middle Ages of my life and into the Renaissance. So I call this Renaissance Week. Monday I actually called my Renaissance. It was a fun day. Sun in Pisces now, so everything's changing here. And I had a question today. Today's 1492 because it's sort of like rediscovering the new world for me. Going where places where only Indians were, but taking credit for it for myself. And on 1492, I was sitting there doing math problems. This is the one of the many faces I have. You can really alter people's consciousness by changing things up. Like I could be in a hat, all scrunched up and drinking coffee, or I can look academic, like a student, sort of like this, and my car for the day that I carry around with me to help me remember. But I said to the teacher afterwards, okay, I can get these problems, but I'm missing some kind of Genesis sort of information that this is 12 inches here as a dramatization drawing. But when we get to 12 inches squared and we start to get these variables, my other side of the brain can't keep up with that. Well, I learned today that squared, when it has to do with squares, is actually doing two dimensions at a time. And then when you cube something, you cube it into three dimensions. And if we really want to, four dimensions, and we can keep going like that. Um, Also, studying the brain, when your head talks to your body, it's called efferent, and when the neurons pass from, like I can feel a car driving up, it goes up to my brain, sort of this yin yang cause and effect sort of thing. And my efferent doesn't like some of the afferent things that happen. Um, I always want to go off on a tangent and study my own things because people always said I was very academical, my peers. But there's nothing about me that is academic in their terms. I mean, I go to school, but and I guess you have to stick with your Genesis stars and not not change. You have to, follow your rainbow to your pot of gold or whatever. But everybody's sitting in the class, and I think they're reading an equation that is false for every value of the variable. Do you know that when dealing with linear equations with one variable? Um, it's a contraction. Sometimes semantics, like wow, wow, wow. If you'd actually see what you were doing, you might have got that. Um, but no, I feel as I did all throughout my years out of place. Like there's one level deeper to everything I'm doing than what I'm doing. If I'm sitting here doing a math problem, or if I'm sitting here eating a sandwich, and there's nothing about that that's going on. So I did this video on day 10. Spring break's coming up, and I rarely have a spare moment to do anything because my schedule's so busy. But I'm just going to go all Renaissance, study everything that brings me to a see how world history forms, see how the music scales, because it all relates, but each one is its separate discipline. So, one thing I noticed with me always throughout school is that I never really learned how to study. Uh, you get the information, and of course, my afferent is going off. Everybody's paying attention, and I'm thinking, how can I make this into some kind of creative project that has nothing to do with what we're actually doing? Um, so I did figure out a way. You know the song on Top 40, "Animal" by Neon Trees. I found a website that was streaming their whole CD, "Habits," from last year. I think it was a highly acclaimed CD. There's some good songs on there. 1983, "Sins of Our Youth." There's some of them that are really razzmatazz. And I was always told you cannot listen to music um, while studying. It doesn't help. And you 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 can study all you want during the day, but at night your hard drive's gonna clear whatever it doesn't want without um, your intent. So while that may be true in a different way, there is a factor of association. And I got my book out, CIS, or yeah, CIS, learning about computers. And the workload always seemed to be, I'd always want to keep it honest. If the workload was too much, I didn't want to lose what I already had in my mind. And it would always extend, like, okay, here we're going to do examples. Practice didn't make perfect. Practice made it an annoyance. Practice was a distraction. So I'm really going back to school with going back to school. Funny how that works in the universe at a university. And really, some of the poorer simulations you have when you're younger, you stick with them all the way up. I knew that 12 inches squared was 144, but I never knew that dimensional thing. I always wondered why they did that. So I was listening to the Habit CD, and uh, another thing it does is it blocks your concentration from wandering anywhere else. If you have a CD on and you're reading the words, you do pick it up because I have main ideas in my head all the time, but I can never follow them. And someone was telling me at work the other day, everybody has ideas. You have to take it and live off of it. Find a way to contribute it in your life. And so it's 1492, and if I claim to be a wise man, it surely means that I don't know. But I'm studying the brain, studying music, math, a lot of classes in school. But of course, I'm going to have some preconceived notions about that counter the afferent information that I'm taking in. But I'm really excited now to make it not about the grades. Let they have electronic babysitters now to make sure that you get something in by 12:30 at night, and if you work till 1 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna get 10 points off on everything. So it is a going back to school process, learning with music, trying different strategies that help out, and just don't take anything for granted that you know what something is. And I want to make it that I'm not just memorizing formulas and doing things out. I want to know how it relates to the universe and me and everything else. All right, my Renaissance week, day 310. I'm not going to throw it at my computer, my nice new Mac.